This video is part of Sedgepress Virtual Arts and Crafts Spring Festival and is to show you how to crochet a cute little bunny bottom. I am recording this video because I did a live session on Facebook with Sedgepress on Saturday the 1st of May and it was an absolute disaster. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. So I'm recording it to make sure that there's no technical issues at all. But before we start, let me tell you a little bit about the cute little bunny bottom. So the bunny bottom, the pattern is taken from my book, which is published with Sedgepress. It's the Crocheted Reefs for the Home. And it's the bunny bottom is in the Easter reef. And you can use any yarn you wish. You just need to adapt your hook size. So depending on the thickness of your yarn, go for twice or 3 times smaller hook than the recommended hook for your yarn. I'll be using chunky yarn and 4mm hook because I want the density. Let's get started. So today we'll be working on the smallest bunny bottom, which is this one here. So I have used chunky yarn and 4mm hook. The original pattern in the book is done in double knitting yarn and 3mm hook. So depending on the thickness of your yarn, you will have a different effect. So it's gonna be larger or smaller. I also made 2 additional bunny bottoms in different sizes purely because I wanted to hang them in a wall just like the retro flying ducks. I used to love them and I thought that would be a fantastic idea to have like bunny bottoms like hanging on a wall in that way. So for this one, as I said, I use single yarn. For this one I use the yarn held double, and for this one I use the yarn held triple. So these 2 strands of yarn I used a 5mm hook, 3 strands of yarn I used 7mm hook. So you can, as I said, you can achieve any effect depending on the thickness of your yarn. Okay, so let's get started with the little one. So for that you will need, I am using chunky yarn in 2 colors, so a lot more of the main one and little bit of the contrast. You will need tapestry needle, stitch marker, crochet hook obviously, scissors, and also stuffing. Now, I don't have any stuffing. I rarely use stuffing. I usually use the ends of yarn that I save from weaving in other projects. So whatever I weave in, I snip off the end, I keep it, and I use this as stuffing. Purely because I like it, how it feels, and I don't always have the normal stuffing near me. If you would like to make the little tail as a pom-pom, then you will need a little pom-pom maker. This one is 3.5 centimeters, so that will give you a really nice and lovely pom-pom. In the pattern, I will post the pattern in the comments on this video, and in the pattern you will have a pattern how to make the tail, which is a crochet head. So you can either do a pom-pom or you can do a crochet tail. It's completely and utterly up to you. So we will start at the base. So this is the flat base. I have also created a loop here because obviously I'm hanging them on a wall. You don't have to. The loop is completely optional, but we will start here. So we will start our work with magic loop, and I am using UK terminology and I will also say it in US. The way I do a magic loop is I hold my yarn here, wrap it around my 2 fingers, and as I am going on top, I place this yarn on top, hold it down, and then insert your hook underneath the bottom yarn, the bottom strand of yarn, pick up the top loop, pull it through, and as you're doing so, twist it around so the hook faces your hand. Gently take out your fingers, chain 1 to lock so it doesn't unravel, and we will work 6 double crochet into the ring. So that's UK double crochet, US single crochet. So make sure that you enclose this tail of your loop as you're working. So into the ring, grab your yarn and pull it through, 2 loops on hook, yarn around the hook and pull it through both. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You see, so we've got all those lovely little V's. So each V is 1 stitch, so we should have 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Perfect. Now what we're going to do, we're going to grab our tail, pull it tight to close up the opening. You see, so it nicely closes up. Now we are working in continuous spiral, so we will not slip stitch or chain one at the beginning of our round. What we will do, we will go straight away into a second round. So what we're going to do on the next one is work 2 double crochet into every single stitch to end. So we will work straight away into the first stitch, so going into the 2 legs of our V, yarn around the hook and pull it through, 2 loops on hook, yarn around the hook and pull it through both. Now what I want you to do is grab your stitch marker and place it on that stitch that we have just made, this one here. So that will denote the beginning of our round. So we have to make 1 more double crochet into the very same stitch. So that's 2 double crochet into 1 stitch. And now we're going to work 2 double crochet into every single stitch to end. And last one. So now we should have 12 stitches, starting with the one with the marker. So this is our first stitch, so we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. So we've got 12 stitches on our lovely little round. So again, we need to continue to increase, but this time we're going to increase into every other stitch. So we're gonna start with 2 double crochet into the first stitch. So this is the first stitch with the marker. So remove your marker, work 1 double crochet into that stitch, replace your marker, and work 1 more double crochet into the same stitch with the marker. Now 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 2 double crochet into the following stitch, 1 double crochet into the next one, 2 double crochet into the following one, and you continue that until the end. Your repeat will end with 1 double crochet into the last stitch. So this is a great way of keeping yourself on track, so you know that if you went with 1 double crochet into the last stitch, you know you ended your round correctly. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you see I come to my last one, and that will be 1 double crochet. So now we should have 18 stitches around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Perfect. So now we are ready for our next round. So now we have to do 1 more round of increasing, but this one will be increasing into every 3rd stitch. Again, starting with 2 double crochet into the first stitch, remove your marker, work 1 double crochet into that stitch, replace your marker in that stitch that you have just made, and then 1 double crochet into the same stitch. So that's 2 in the first one, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2, 2 double crochet into the next one, 1 double crochet into next 2 stitches, 2 double crochet into the next one, 1 into next 2, 2 in the following. You see, so we are increasing every 3rd stitch. 1 into the next 2, 2 in the following, and then continue. And again, your repeat will end with 1 double crochet into the last 2 stitches. 1, 2, that's this one, that's 2 here, and I've got 2 stitches left, which means 1 double crochet into the last 2 stitches. So now at the end of this round, let me just close up the opening a bit more. There we go. I should have 24 stitches. So let's have a look. 2, 4. Perfect. I've got 24. So now we need to work 1 double crochet into the back loop of every single stitch. By doing that, what we will create, you see there's a little edge here. You see, you can see this little lovely edge. So this is a nice edge. This is the difference between going from the flat side to going onto a curved side. So now we're going to create this curved dome, which will shape our bottom, of course. So now, remove your stitch marker. And if we look at our stitch is a gorgeous V, and it's formed of 2 legs, of the front leg and the back leg. So we will work on this round, we will work into the back leg, so the back loop of our stitch. So insert your hook into the back loop of your stitch and work your double crochet as normal. Replace your marker on the stitch you just made, so you know that you will be on your right track. See, and now again, front leg of our loop, we'll be working into the back loop. So insert your hook into the back loop and finish off. Again, always in the back loop. There we go, we are at the end. See? So now you can see how this will help our work to go upwards now, you see? So remove your stitch marker, and now we will work 2 rounds of just 1 double crochet into every single stitch to end. Not in the back loop anymore, so now we are going to go into the full stitch, so the 2 legs of our V, and work 1 double crochet. Replace your marker so I know where my round begins, and work for 2 rounds just 1 double crochet into every single stitch to end. So when you finish your 2 rounds, your work should look like this. You see now our base here is nice and flat, and we are working out on our rounded shape. Okay, so now what we have to do is start decreasing. So remove your marker, and we're gonna start with one double crochet 2 together. So to work a double crochet 2 together, insert your hook into the first stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through, insert your hook into the following stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn around the hook and pull it through all 3. So that's our double crochet 2 together, and that's a nice decrease. So grab your stitch marker, place it on that decrease to denote the beginning of your round, and now we're going to work 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, and then again we're going to work a decrease. So double crochet 2 together, so yarn, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through, insert your hook into the following stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through, 3 loops on our hook, now yarn around the hook and pull it through all 3, and again 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So repeat that all the way to the end, and remember your repeat ends with 1 double crochet into the last 2 stitches. See, and that's our last 2 double crochets. See, so you can see, let's just put that in here. You can see that our work is getting smaller now, so it's curving inwards now. So now what we're going to do, we're going to work a round of 1 double crochet into every single stitch. So we're gonna start with 1 double crochet into this stitch, replace a marker, and then work 1 double crochet into every single stitch to end. Nothing fancy, just plain double crochet. And again, that's UK double crochets, US single crochets. What we can do is stuff it a little bit now. So grab some of your stuffing, if you have stuffing or your kind of your yarn ends, just push it inside. I don't usually stuff things too much. I don't like to stuff anything too much. I like it a bit softer. So I'm a terrible, as I said, I'd never overstuffed anything. I just kind of gently just put enough stuffing. Make sure that when you're stuffing that your base is nice and flat, because this is very important, because obviously when you wear it as a brooch or hang it on a wall or attach it to your wreath or however you wish, you want this to be nice and flat. So make sure it's nice and flat, so you don't stuff it this way, because that will be too much. So nice and flat. Okay, so now we are ready for another round of decreases. So this time we're going to decrease into every other stitch. So starting with our double crochet 2 together over the first 2 stitches. So hook in, yarn around the hook, pull it through, into another stitch, into the next stitch, pull it through, 3 loops on hook, yarn around the hook through all 3. So now grab your stitch marker, place it on the first stitch, and now we're going to work 1 double crochet into the next stitch, followed by double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches, double crochet into the next one, double crochet 2 together on into the over the next 2. So we're decreasing into every other stitch basically. And remember your repeat ends with 1 double crochet into the last stitch. So now we should have 12 stitches after this. I forgot to count on the last decrease row where it was 18, but let's have a look. We should have 12 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. So we've got 10. So we're going to take out the stitch marker now. We're going to stuff our little bottom a little bit more, just to give it a nice, making sure that the bottom is nice and flat. I usually just place my finger here and just stuff the rounded shape more than anything, because that's where we want the lovely roundness. See, I think that will do. I don't think I need to do it anymore. Spread it out. There we go. I think that's absolutely fine. Maybe, yeah, no, maybe a tad more. There we go. So now we are going to work 1 double crochet into every single stitch to end, starting with the first one. Place a marker on the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into every single stitch to end. Now a last stitch, there we go. And now check out your stitch mark. And now we are going to work double crochet 2 together to the end of the round. So this is a final decrease, a final round. So 1, 2, 3 loops on hook, pull it through all 3. So that's our first decrease. Place your marker, and then into the next one. Here we go. Now pull out your yarn, give yourself a bit of a tail because you want it to you want to use this tail to close up your opening. Pull it out all the way. Take out your marker now. You should have, by the way, six stitches all the way around, which I have. Squish it a little bit so it's kind of nice and rounded. Don't worry, you're gonna place a tail over all of this, so you're not going to see the top at all. Grab your tapestry needle, feed your yarn, and then what I want you to do is to close up this opening, go from your side in, underneath, insert your needle underneath 2 legs of every single stitch. So this stitch here, 2 legs, pull it through. Next stitch, see, from my side in, underneath the 2 legs, pull it all the way out. Next one, that's the one here. Following one. Next one. And the last one. Here we go. So now what we're going to do, we're going to pull tight to bring all the stitches close together. There we go. And now what we have to do is I usually bury the end, like weaving the end into the actual work. So making sure I go into the stuffing and out on the side. That also helps to pull the end in a little bit. So it rounds it up a little bit as well. You see, it makes it a bit more rounder. Then in again, making sure I go into the stuffing as well, so my needle and my yarn gets trapped into this in the stuffing as well. And do the same thing once more on the other side, pulling in the little ends. You see, so it kind of rounds it really nicely as well. But again, don't worry about this top bit because that will be covered by your tail, the tail of your little bunny. Let's cut this off now. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a nice flat base around the top, and now we are ready for our little ears. Let's make little ears next. So again, grab your yarn. So for our ear, we will start with 8 chains. So make a slip knot and work 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to work 1 double crochet into the second chain from hook. Oh, I've got a little hair here. Just bear with me a second. One double crochet into the next 2 chains. One half treble into the next 3 chains. So that's UK half treble, US half double. So yarn around the hook into your chain, grab your yarn and pull it through. 3 loops on the hook, yarn around the hook and pull it through all 3. So that's our half treble or US half double. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are left with 1 chain at the end. So we're going to work 5 half treble into the last chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now what we're going to do, we're going to work on the other side of our foundation row, you see? So our chain, so we're going to go into the back loop of our chains now. So again, as we've done on this side, we have to work 1 half treble into the next 3 chain. And while we're doing that, what I want you to do is enclose this tail as we work, because you don't need this tail. This tail is not needed, and if we enclose it, we don't have to weave it in. So 1 half treble into our next chain, and 1/2 treble into the next 2 chains. And ending with 1 double crochet into the last 3 chains. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And to end our little ear, we're going to slip stitch into our very first stitch. Now give yourself a good end here, because you obviously will need it to attach your ear to your bunny, and you have to make another ear, and then when you finish all the pieces you will be ready to attach. But before we do that, let's make a little foot. So to make a foot, again, you're doing it with the main yarn, and we're gonna start with a slip knot and 7 chains. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to work 1 double crochet into the second chain from hook. So not this one here, but this one here. 1 double crochet into the next chain. 1/2 treble into the next 2 chains. One treble into the following chain, and we've got 1 chain left, and we're going to work 5 trebles into this chain. Trebles, it's UK trebles, US double crochets. So I just done a treble here, but let me show you how to do this slower. So yarn around the hook into your chain, grab your yarn and pull it through. 3 loops on a hook, yarn around the hook through 2. 2 loops left, yarn around the hook through remaining 2. So that's your treble. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And again, as with the ears, we have to now work on the other side of our foundation chain. Again, we are mirroring exactly what we have done on this side. We're mirroring exactly on this side. So again, our last stitch was a treble. So we're going to work a treble into our next chain. Followed by 1/2 treble into the next two stitches. 1, oopsie daisy, 2, and then 1 double crochet into the last 2 chains. 1, 2, and slip stitch it to the very first stitch you made. And again, give yourself a good tail here, because you want to have this to attach your foot to your body. Pull it out. You can cut this little tail here off now, the one that you were enclosing in your stitches. See? Give it a nice stretch. And what we have to do here as well is make a little foot pad. If I show you here, see, you've got a little pad for your little feet. So do that in a contrast yarn, and this one is super simple. So grab your contrast yarn, make a magic ring, chain 1, and work 4 double crochet into the ring. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grab your tail, pull it really tight to close up the opening, and slip stitch to your first stitch. Give yourself a bit of a tail. You can cut this tail off now. It's not necessary, you won't need it. Thread your end onto a tapestry needle. And you can now attach this to your foot. So attach it at the fattest part of your foot, so just here, you see, so the fattest part where we work these 5 trebles. And just going under the stitches into the actual foot. See it again, under the stitches, so that hides this yarn really nicely. And do every single one of those stitches. Let's put that little end in. And once more. And that's that. So now let's weave in the end. I usually just weave it once, going down and overlap a stitch and go up. That way it's nicely trapped. Oops. Cut off the end. And your foot is ready. So what I would do first, I would make it a tail. Before I would position the tail first and then position the 2 feet going like sideways. You can of course make a little pom-pom, which is just really lovely as a tail. To attach it, I usually have 2 ends to my pom-pom, as you would. Attach it to the center of your work here, to the top, so that's when you want your tail to be. Thread it through the inside thread of your pom-pom. And now go all the way through to your base. There you go. Do the same with the other end. And again, thread it to the stitches. And then through the inside thread of your pom-pom. Now, when you put it to the base, when you put the needle through the base, make sure it comes out from the same stitch as your last one. Now, grab those 2 ends, pull them tight, squish your work a little bit, so give it a good squish. Tie a knot. And now, when you unsquish your work, so use your needle to help you here, this knot will disappear into your work, you see? So that way you cannot see it. Cut off those 2 ends. And now you're ready to attach your little feet. So place your little feet, as in this bunny, at an angle, just on the side of your tail. So just attach them by sewing them with a tapestry needle all the way around. And then do exactly the same on the other sides. And then when you have your ears, when you attach your feet, you can place your ears either close together or apart together, as I've done on this one, because I've got the little loop. I will make sure that the pattern is available with the video, so you'll be either in a comment or in the main post. So please do enjoy, and thank you so much for watching.